What can you tell us about the situation in northern Gaza in particular?
Good evening. Thanks for having me. The situation in north of Gaza is beyond catastrophic and horrific. For the 11th day, we are witnessing intensified attacks in north of Gaza, where many neighborhoods have been razed to the ground. Aid was not getting in since the beginning of October, and this has resulted to more even human suffering. Thousands of families were forced to flee from their homes. Many, they went to Gaza City seeking shelter anywhere, even in houses that were bombed earlier, in shelters that are overcrowded. And many families, they still trapped in their homes in north of Gaza. We are witnessing and receiving dozens of phone calls from civilians who are either asking to be evacuated safely. They do have children, sick people, elderly people, and they are trapped and surrounded by the tanks and ongoing bombardments. Others are asking to be helped to get food as they run out of food or clean water. And dozens of calls are for families who do have people who are wounded and need to be transported to the hospital, but unfortunately, because they are located in areas that are red zones, our teams and rescue teams can't even reach these locations. And
so, Nebal, can I ask you this? I mean, of the calls that you're getting of people who want to be safely evacuated, is that possible at the moment?
Unfortunately, this is impossible. Even emergency medical services, it is impossible now in many areas in north of Gaza. Our ambulances can't even be sent to these red zones areas. Anyone who tries to reach these areas will be targeted, and we're receiving dozens of phone calls for families who do have people who are wounded. Some family members are under the rubble. Their homes were bombed, and we could not even help. The only thing we can provide is just providing some first aid instructions to the family who can support each other. Like one of the calls we received, it was from a woman in north of Gaza, and they are a family member of 13. Their home was bombed, and two of their family members were killed. The 11 others were injured, including 5 children and 5 women. And some of them were critically injured. They had amputations, and we had to give first aid instructions to the woman so she can support her family member.
Because of a lack, of course, of medical facilities and medical care, as you're saying, Nebal. You know, Israel is saying here that in the north of Gaza, it is targeting Hamas, to target the Hamas militants in the area. What is your message to the international community as to what you think is needed most right now?
The Palestine Red Crescent is the lead emergency medical service provider, and our teams are still working on the ground, trying their best to save lives. And what we are witnessing is unimaginable human suffering. Children, women are being attacked, many are losing their lives, and many are injured, bleed to death without being able to receive emergency medical services. And even who were lucky enough to be transported to the hospital, there is the situation in hospitals are also hard, where hospitals are lacking medications and medical supplies. They are partially functional. The situation in Gaza is dire. It is still worsening. It has been over a year, and civilians in Gaza are still enduring unimaginable and relentless suffering. They are lacking everything. They are not only being bombed and trapped, there is no safe places left for them to go. They are lacking access to food, clean water, to electricity, and we need to see an end for this suffering. The international community must take serious measures to ensure the protection of civilians and aid workers in Gaza under international humanitarian